You know what's so annoying? Putting something on that used to be a little big on you and now it's real snug. Oh, it says drink water and don't be racist. I know that's hard for a lot of people though. Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and we're here to do an April wrap up. I will never not spiral about the passage of time, okay? It's May. It's not gonna be May, it's May. So we're gonna talk about the books that I read in April, and it was a good reading month. I had some rereads and I got my first 5-star. Actually, no, my second. Because I went back and I changed Dominion to a 5-star. Did I change that on Goodreads? Let me look it up, because if I didn't, let me give her flowers. So I read 8, oh my God, 8 books. I did a video about 2 of them, I think. So the first one was the memoir, and I have a video about that and the lawsuit that has been lodged against that author. And I do talk about my thoughts about the memoir because I've been doing this thing where I don't rate memoirs, and I think that I'm gonna change that, especially after reading some memoirs that are like, as a story, as a novel, they're not good. So I think I'm gonna change my stance on that. So I don't think the tell was, outside of what information that we know, I don't think it was a well-written memoir. And granted, I knew about the lawsuit stuff before I read it, so take that with a grain of salt, but I just don't think that you're gonna come away from it with anything or learn anything. I don't know, but you know, listen to it if you want. She's a fine narrator. It was all right. Then I read Yesteryear, which I also did a video about. This one's by Claire Burke, and it is about a trad wife influencer, so think Nara Smith or Ballerina Farms, who one day, you know, it takes place in present day, but then she one day wakes up in like 1850, and so she's like on a farm doing like the kind of life that she's been cosplaying and having to figure out how did I get here, what is going on, and really live in that time. The gender dynamics, the hard, like the actual labor that you have to do during that time. And so I really enjoyed it. I know that there's criticisms of it, whatever, that's fine. Some of the ones that I read in my video were like 1-star ones by people who I guess are very religious and thought that this book was just so blasphemous and that it took the Bible out of context. And I'm like, you mean like everybody? Faith leaders who use passages of the Bible out of, okay, whatever. I just found that hilarious that they were so mad, and I liked the writing. I listened to the audiobook, so I liked the writing. I thought the humor, it was funny, like a darkly comedic way. And the main character, I'm just like, I just know that some of her inner thoughts that we were getting, I'm like, I know people that I grew up with who probably are having these same things. And some people are like, oh, I don't like this, or this isn't whatever. I liked it. It has been optioned for a film, I think, by Anne Hathaway. I think Anne Hathaway is also going to be in it, so I think that'll be really good. But I saw someone say, I'm trying, it's so hard to be vague, but the explanation we get about her in the 1850s was really satisfying to me. And I just liked the commentary that it made on these influencers and these people basically using social media as another form of ministry. Like, it is truly like they've been influencing for a long time, but in different ways. And they have morphed and they have adapted with the times to do that on social media, and just, you know, all of the things that people see online, but what it really takes to do that behind the scenes. A lot of money, added help, and how these women really aren't traditional wives anyway because they are making money. Sometimes they're making the most money in their partnership, which is fine, but it's not what a traditional wife would do. So I enjoyed it. And so I can't wait for more people to read it, to see more commentary on it. Yeah, I'm interested to see what more people say, but I had a good time. I then read The Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Chakraborty, which is the second book after The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I was very lucky to get an arc, and I loved it. It started out as a buddy read. Sorry, Ray. I had to finish it because I was like, I want to know what happens. And so I loved it. I saw on her Instagram that she was saying that she was kind of writing them that they could be, it's obviously a series, but like the stories themselves can like stand alone. And so I did watch kind of like a recap, and she also posted a recap on her Instagram of what happened in the first book, so I could go into this next one. And I really enjoyed the different plot in this one. Like, we obviously are on the ship. We're back on the ship. We're still doing our thing with these transgressions. And I love her shipmates, like Tinbu and is it Masjed? I love them. And we do get to see her family again. But they obviously have more things to do. And I missed those characters because at one point in the story, they are separate. Like, that's just being vague. So I both missed them but then was intrigued with the other people that she was around and the story there. And like this one, I can't remember. I'd have to look at my copy of Amina Al-Sarafi. There's interludes, which I think Amina, the first one, did have. And at first, they don't seem to make sense, and as you go along, you're like, oh, you're starting to realize what these interludes are and like what they're telling. Because at first I was like, oh my god, something happened and you took me away from the story to give me this interlude. So then that was building over time, and I was like, oh shit, I kind of want to go back and reread the first couple that I was really lost. But I love Amina as a character. She is like very flawed, but she is, I think, is she in her 40s? She's a tall, strong woman, and she's hiding things from her family, from some of her crew. So there's that struggle, and then she's got this deal that she has to finish with the Perrys. And so I just love this, like, the, what do you call it? I'm gonna say the lore, like the mythical creatures of this world, or some that are overlapping with some that were in Davabad. And it's just a good time. I love Shannon Chakraborty's writing. I will say, you know, sometimes the chapters were long, and there was a little bit of like, okay, where are we going? But it is the second book in a trilogy, and that part didn't last too long for me. Like, even when I was like, okay, this chapter feels a little long, we would eventually get to something where I'm like, ooh, and that would just hook me right back in. And especially once I got to the halfway point, because I was trying to read it slower to read it with Ray, I was like, oh my god, I just want to fly through the rest of the story. So I thought it was a great sequel to the first one. And the fucking ending, I think she's already writing the third one, and like, take your time, but also, oh my god. Yeah, so that was 5 stars for me. I don't know why I did that. That's 10, 5 stars. I then read, finally, because I did start this book years ago and I put it to the side because it was like, woof, this is a lot. But then I realized, well, it's gonna be a lot for a long time because nothing is changing in this country. That book is Jesus and John Wayne, which the subtitle is, well, that's rude. God, somebody's already read 31 books this year? Damn. I'm in 19. Okay. Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation by Kristen Kobes Dumas. And she has another book coming out soon. And I can't remember what it's about, but I remember looking at it and I was like, oh, I'm interested in that. I think this is a really strong 4-star, maybe 4.25. I find nonfiction hard to rate. Usually you're a 4-star or a 5-star. And I just am going off of what I learned, how I felt when I finished it. And I felt like a strong 4-star when I finished this one, but I still think it's really excellent. A great book if somebody's like, I don't understand how we got here. Why are they trying to make this essentially a theocracy? And like, you should read that book. So I had a lot of notes, a lot of tabs in that one. And so it was just really interesting. And I was thinking as I was reading it, I was like, you know what? I'm just realizing how every single presidential candidate I can remember, and at least from this timeline that she is covering, has always, like, their faith has always been like a part of the campaign, or at least known. And I just think that's wild. Not to say a person who has subscribes to a religion can't be the president, but like I just feel like that's something we shouldn't know, or it shouldn't be touted as like this is she has strong family values and strong Christian values or something. I'm like, and you know, that's always been a part of it, even if they weren't as crazy as that current man is now with like a prayer group in the church and like blasting all those things online. I'm like, yes, religion has really been intertwined with the presidency and the government of the United States for a very long time. So I just thought it was interesting how she was explaining all that, the role that John Wayne played, this whole thing of how they really wanted to change the perspective of Christianity from like this soft 40-inch bust down Jesus, kind, loving, to like macho man Jesus, roar, He-Man, and how they wanted candidates that really embodied what they thought manliness was. And especially once she got to the explanation of why they have rallied behind that orange thing so much, I was like, that actually makes sense. Because, you know, you see people who say, oh, I'm a Christian and that's why I voted for him, and you're like, for this guy. But it's less about him really following and embodying these Christian values that we would think of, the like love thy neighbor and to help the poor and all of these things. And it's more of like, he is a man who's not afraid to be a man and say the hard things and say what we've been wanting to say for a long time. So it was, while wasn't an easy book to get through, because it's just like, oof. I still think it's worthwhile. I will say I didn't love the audiobook narrator, but I did listen to the audio while I followed along with the physical. But there was something, I don't know, maybe if I slowed it down, her voice would have sounded less mechanical, digital. Not as bad as like an AI reading, but like, it didn't sound warm. I don't know how to explain that, but anyway, still a really good book. And now I need to look up, hold on, let me see what her next book is. Live, Laugh, Love: The Secret History of White Christian Women and the World They Made. Yeah, I need that. I need that. Okay, and then I listened to the audio for The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have had a mixed relationship with Tiffany D. Jackson's books. I read Monday's Not Coming. I love that one. Really heartbreaking, but I love that one. I read Grown. I thought it was okay. Then I read White Smoke, and I really disliked White Smoke. So I was like, I don't know if I want to read anything else by her. But I remember when this first came out, was seeing so many people talk about it on Threads. Then I was asking for recommendations for audiobooks, and someone said The Scammer. And so the narrator was, I think, January Lavoie. And it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. It was really quick. I think I listened to it in 2 days. And someone had messaged me. They're like, do you know kind of the story this is based off on? And I was saying, no, which I didn't. So this is set at a college campus. Our character grows up like very well-to-do. She's a black girl, and she goes to basically an all-white school, but she graduates and she wants to go to an HBCU. Her parents don't support this, but she ends up going to one in DC. And at first it seems all great. Her roommates is like what she wanted, which she didn't have in high school. She feels really close to them, having a great time. She's surrounded by black people. This is wonderful. And then I'm like, I don't even want to say, because I feel like that would ruin it, but she essentially gets caught up in like a cult on campus. And it's really frustrating listening to it and being like, oh my God. I mean, obviously I can't imagine being 18, 19 and being surrounded by this kind of information, and then your closest friends, your roommates are also getting swept up in it. I imagine that would be really difficult. And usually these people who lead cults are they're able to be very charismatic and very convincing to people. So like I had to keep that in mind. Like these are very young little babies gone to school, and especially because he was using, like, they're at an HBCU, so obviously, and there's like police brutality going on, people are protesting, and he's using these things and talking about the man, and like, you know, the white man and how we have to work against that. And so I could see in a fresh young black mind they might get swept up in that. And so I was like, God damn it, y'all are making me so mad. But I had to be understanding, and just like things keep happening, but like she'll have moments of clarity and like trying to get out of it, but she gets sucked back into it. And there's like this other story about something in her past that she's hiding, because she keeps being very secretive, and it's like, what is she hiding? What's going on? And so finding out like the resolution that happens from the story and finding out what she's been hiding was really satisfying. So it's fast paced, and I mean, I like Tiffany D. Jackson's writing enough. Great audiobook, and it kept me it kept me on the edge of my seat, because I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna kill somebody? Is somebody gonna go? What's gonna happen? Where did that person go? But just know that you will be mad, annoyed listening to it. But it's really quick and it was really fun. So, good time. I reread two things. This is on my May TBR that I'm rereading, the Chronicles of Narnia, to talk about it with my friend. I think you see my set right there. So I have read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is one of my favorite books. I don't know how many times, but the other ones, to my memory, I've only read once. So I reread The Magician's Nephew, loved it again for the second time at least. My original rating was 5 stars, so I left it at 5 stars. Reread The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Loved it. 5 stars, 5 stars. And I'm going to continue with The Horse and His Boy, I think, is the next one. And so I've been listening to the audio. It's just like all of them together. But it's been really nice with my spring cleaning task that I'm working on, and I'll just put it on. And usually it takes, I don't know, 2 hours maybe. And that's about the time that I spend doing the task. And then I finish the book and I finish the task, and it's like, great. So, I mean, I don't know what to say besides I love them. It's so funny because I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe super young, and then like I kept rereading it. Like I remember I had a paperback copy, and eventually the cover came off because I read it too much. And at that time didn't realize, you know, the allegories for like Christianity and stuff. And then obviously as an adult, but still, even as a person who like considers himself an atheist now, reading it is still like, oh, oh. So I don't know, that doesn't take it away from me at the moment. Like some of it is obviously more clear. Like I'm like, ooh, that is really Jesus-y right there, or really like Christianity right there. But still, like, I don't know, just little wholesome stories that I still love. So fun times. And lastly, I finished The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. So this was a sci-fi. I listened to the audiobook, which I don't like Bonnie Turpin as a narrator, like, but it was fine because I haven't listened to an audiobook narrated by her in a long time. But generally, like, she narrates a lot. And sometimes if I'm like listening to a lot of audiobooks, I can't do Bonnie back to back, but I survived for this one. And so this is more a novella, because I think it's like 142 pages. And so I know that it's a novella, but I feel like it could have done a little bit better of a job, kind of like, it felt like we kind of were just like dropped in the middle of a story to me. But I still ended up overall enjoying it. I gave it like a 3.75, round up to a 4. But essentially they're on this like ship, a generational ship, and they're trying to go back to Earth. But the main character, she and most of the people on the ship have never been to Earth. They like grew up on a different I don't know if it was a planet or just like space station, but that planet was like no longer, you know, viable for them to be there. So they're basically risking it all, them and other ships, to try to make it back to Earth. But this is like hundreds of light years away. And they're running low on supplies. They keep being encountering things and getting damaged to the spaceship. And it's like, they're gonna either never make it back to Earth and they're just gonna die, or they're just gonna be floating forever and then just die because it's gonna take too long. But something happens. There's like a droid on the ship, and it's basically like, don't open the doors. And one thing I liked about this was like, it seemed like every chapter ending was like a dun dun dun, which some people may not like, but I was like, oh my God. And that was like the end of like the first or second chapter. Was like, don't open the doors. I'm like, what? Don't open. And they're like, don't open what door? For why? And what is it? And so that like keeps going, and they can't figure out like what is, like, there should be nothing on the ship. They've been in space for forever. They haven't docked anywhere, but then things start happening and people are going missing and power goes out. All these things are happening and they have to figure out what happens, or like what's going on the ship, who is taking people, and is this about to be the end right there? So some of that, especially like once we get the explanation about what was happening and some other things with like ship politics, that was really interesting. I was like, oh damn. And then the ending, you know, wraps up pretty quickly. But yeah, I just wanted a little bit more. Like, we get a little bit, obviously, about why they're in space, but I don't know. I couldn't help but feel like I just kind of got plopped into the story. But I went along with it, and again, it was pretty quick. Okay, this is Editing Jessica. I just wanted to show you my view because the clouds, it look cute. Anyway, my camera died, and I remember filming another clip on my phone, and now I can't find it. See, this is what happens when I'm like, oh, let me clean out my camera roll. So I don't know what I said after that, but that was the end of my wrap up. It was a good reading month. I already do have a May TBR. If you're wondering what I'm trying to read in May, I'll link that video. And so I hope I have an ambitious TBR for May. And I don't have class. I finished my classes like 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks? I finished my class in April, at the end of April, and my summer classes don't start till May 26th. So I'm trying to get as much reading in as possible before then. So I was really excited to get 8 books in April, so we could keep up that energy in May. That'd be great. But I don't know what else I said. So let me know your thoughts if you've read any of these, or how your reading month was. And that's it. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.